I started photography, I'd say 2 years ago, and I only started experiencing with film photography, I'd say last year in 2020. Um, I just got exposed to it, so I just decided one day to go out and buy my own film camera and just go for it.
So I decided to come to this place to shoot. I really love the colors, the bright blues, the orange, and just the whole look of vintage. So I'm using both my digital camera and my film camera.
Sometimes I'll just go out on a day where I don't have anything to do, and I'll load up a new roll of film in my camera, and I'll just go out and just drive around and find places to take pictures. I think when I go out and shoot film, it's super interesting because you can't really do much. You know, there's not a lot of settings to change. There's not a lot of things to adjust. It's basically you just, click the button and you're done. You can't go back and make any changes. So I think that's one interesting aspect about film photography that's different from anything else. You can't overthink it too much. You just have to find out what you want to take a picture of and just take it, and then you'll find out what it looks like later. And that's what's really cool. It's kind of like a surprise. You never know what your pictures are going to turn out when you take film until you actually sit down and develop them.
So I was just driving by and I saw this really cool church behind me, so I decided to get out and take a few shots of it.
And I think that developing is probably the toughest part of shooting film, in my opinion. I actually choose to develop my own film at home, so it does make it a little bit more challenging. There's a lot that goes with the process of developing your own film and scanning it as well. So the process of developing your film, first you have to remove the film from your camera. And then after, you have to go into a completely dark room, no light, or else that will definitely mess up your pictures and how they come out. And once you do that, you put it into your tank, and you can finally come out of the dark at that point. And then that is when you add your developer. For 3 minutes, you're mixing that developer in with your film, and then you pour that out. And then after the developer, you pour that out, and then next is what we call the Blix stage. So you add in the Blix after the developer, and this is the longest part. This actually lasts around 8 to 9 minutes of just shaking up that tank and making sure that Blix is getting all throughout that film. And after that, you rinse it out with water, you take out your film, and then boom, if you hold it up to the light, you can see what your pictures will look like. And then that is when the scanning process will start, which is really interesting because this is the part where you can finally see what your pictures are going to look like. That's actually another part of film that's different from shooting digital, is that when you're scanning your film, you really don't have to do much with your pictures editing wise. Personally, I don't. I just love the vintage feel, the film look. It's grainy. I just really try not to mess with it that much because I really love how it looks. However, with digital, you're editing, maybe adding some filters or color grades. I love the pictures that I take with film. I do. Some of them may not be perfect, and that's okay because film is not perfect. Of course, I've only been doing this for maybe over a year. So I'm definitely not the best at it. I'm definitely still learning and going through the process and fixing my mistakes and learning from them as well. But I definitely do see myself continuing to do film in the future and getting better and definitely getting more experimental.